And the selection, which our minister will initiate, will not go for 3 or 4 weeks. Goes around 32 seconds. There are no secrets. There are no nepotism or one-talkies involved. It's very transparent and accountable way, the manner in which we select our students.
Prior to 2018, the selection of grade 12 students to the higher learning institutions in the country was done manually. There were lots of hiccups and many other things going on in between. Since 2018, the Higher Education Department embarked on the National Online Selection System, and today it is one of the best systems in place. It is transparent, effective, and efficient.
Our students who successfully completed the grade 12 and now will be selected to our universities and our colleges. Let me share with you my personal experience as a president of a university for 20 years. What selection was for me. Before the manual selection took place in Port Moresby, I had to meet with my executive and have a special budget for that. It was quite an expensive exercise to send staff from different faculties to Port Moresby to make sure that they arrive before the selection, then make sure that the bookings in the hotel confirm. And it took my staff around 3 weeks to select students. Afterwards, they returned to the university, give the paper to the office of the registrar, and the registrar and deputy registrar and the staff were typing the names of the selected students into the system. And there was no Christmas and New Year for the staff because of the paperwork. So if everything was done, the second week of January, we knew which students were selected, and we had to advise them as soon as possible if they accept the offer. If they say yes, then we had to get the ticket for them to come the first week of February for academic year. So it was almost impossible to say to my staff, take time off during Christmas and New Year. If I would do it, the students won't be able to receive the message on time. So, and then once the selection was done, then we received complaint that some parents came with evidence, my daughter, my son, applied to this university, has a good GPA, was missed in the selection. Of course, if you have 25,000 papers to go through, and each institution is going through those papers, so they were not in the proper order. So you can imagine that some names were missing from that. When I became a secretary of higher education, I was tasked by this minister of the time, Honorable Pelaniningi, to look into the issue of selecting students. Because when he was an ordinary citizen, he brought his adopted daughter to one of our institutions to be enrolled, and he was asked to pay 3,000 kina, and he refused. So that way, he said, we need to have a different system of selecting students. That's why we developed the software, which we are selecting the students electronically. From September to the grace period, students make their choices according to their wishes. When we receive the final marks of grade 12 from the Department of Education, we immediately advise each student, that's your marks. Go back to your accounts, because we created for each student account. See your choices. See the requirements of the institutions. See the subject combinations, and try to make some changes. During the 5 days of grace period, students went into their own accounts and make changes, new applications made in 5 days. My dear colleagues, we have very good system in our country. Transparent system. When the student, before the students make final choice where he or she wants to study, has enough time to consult the lecturers, the parents, to get the right advice. And most importantly, the students see the final marks and can compare the marks with the requirements of an institution to which he or she applies. Many of you, I think all of you sitting here, didn't have this opportunity. You applied, you had 2 choices, the third was any choice you would like to make. And you were praying for the best that you will be selected. And you don't know how you were selected. And you were waiting weeks and weeks to hear you were successful or not. Because we are in our country imbibe digitalization to our higher education sector. Today, those grade 12 students are online now, live. They are watching what we do. And the selection, which our minister will initiate, will not go for 3 or 4 weeks, goes around 32 seconds. After this 32 seconds, students who applied to different institutions will know if they were successful or not. And they will wait for the institution to confirm, yes, we are happy to make you welcome to our academic community. Once they get the confirmation from the institution, we will process the tickets if they're eligible for TERST. We will register them as our students in the higher education sector. What I didn't mention, and I have to, during this address, is that this module which we developed, where all our students applied, not using biro or papers. Everything is done electronically. Today, they will be selected to our institutions of higher learning electronically. No paper will be involved. And you and the students and parents can see why the students were selected or was not selected. There are no secrets. They know nepotism or one-talk is involved. It's very transparent and accountable way, the manner in which we select our students. There will be disappointments, but I want to send one message. The selection is transparent. It's based on merit. It's based on the requirements of each institution of higher learning. And every student, since September till now, had enough time to study what are requirements for each institution. On top of that, the students had 5 days to make necessary changes into their choices to make sure that when the students apply, he or she can be selected because it's meeting all the requirements. Oh, well, dear Minister, you and many others had to wait weeks and weeks before the selection was concluded, before the name was entered into the registrar book, and you never knew how you were selected. Today, you will virtually make possible that our children will be selected in less than 35 seconds. The names will go directly to the institutions who are registered with us. We will just ask them to confirm if they like to accept those students or not. The beauty of the system is that right now the institution can see the number and the marks of the student. Once the institution say we are happy with the marks, when they click yes, the number will change to the name of the student. So this software is very complex. It's customized only for our country. Solomon Islands want to use a copy of our software. It will be up to you, the minister, to say yes, because it's our property. So I will appreciate very much on behalf of all higher education institutions and our universities, if you'd be so kind and formally activate that selection.
PNG Insight has been following the national online application system since its inception, and we can categorically state here that it is one of the best use cases of technology in the education sector in the country.